Jason Mitchell is here.
Oh, here you go.
You know him from either from The Chi or from Straight Outta Compton or Superfly or
a little bit of everything.
Everything, man.
Skull Island.
Skull Island. Yeah.
You gotta mix it
I'm
up.
the only fan in here of Skull Island, and I love that movie.
Yes, Soder came in here when he found out you were coming in. Like, Skull Island was fucking awesome.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, no lie though, it was probably the most, like, it was the most beautiful experience I ever had in my life.
Where'd you guys film it?
We filmed in Hawaii, Australia, and Vietnam.
Okay.
It was just the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Like, Vietnam, that country itself alone is, oh my God, just so beautiful. You know what I mean?
It's gorgeous. My dad's generation doesn't remember it as being gorgeous. My dad's generation thinks of it as the reason he can't sleep at night. I'm kidding. He's dead. He's been dead for years.
Zips in the wire. Zips in the wire.
Right?
What do you do in Vietnam when you're not shooting? What do you go out and do?
You know, here's the thing about being black. I mean,
even in Vietnam.
It was nice. We went on like a lot of different tours and things like that. But you know, the language barrier was such a thing that I was always like, you know, being home before dark sounds like my type of party. You know what I mean? So yeah, but it was a beautiful country, man. It was just a real sight. Like, it was just a treat to the eyes. You know what I mean? Like, you don't see stuff like that.
Any women?
I'm sorry?
Any women?
Oh, come on. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, you gotta try everything out.
Yeah.
Right.
You gotta taste the rainbow.
Sample the culture.
Exactly.
Sample the culture.
Dude, that's great.
Where did you grow up?
New Orleans.
So, did you travel a lot growing up or anything like that? Or
Well, actually, I'm an army brat, right? So, I was actually born in Germany, and I moved to New Orleans when I was like 3 years old, and then we left when I was in the second grade and went to Belgium for a while. And then we came back to New Orleans. So I was like, I got the best of both worlds.
Was that kind of like whiplash at all, going from like New Orleans to Belgium to like, you're going to a place with all this like culture and then you go to Belgium, which is just super white, and then snap right back to New Orleans?
Well, see, the thing about like military people, like, they had this sort of what they call Dodge schools, right?
Okay.
And it's just a cultural cluster, you know what I mean? It's like a huge gumbo pot of everybody.
Yeah.
And it never seemed like super white, you know what I mean?
Okay.
It was like my first girlfriend was Filipino, you know what I mean? It was pretty cool.
Like an officer and a gentleman, fucking Robert Loggia and his son. Here, fucking a Filipino girl together.
No, but it was just I think it taught me how to become a chameleon and a people person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Do you
it
not
gave
get
me some real
attached as
truth.
fast because you're leaving? So you're so likely to leave. Are you less likely to get attached to people?
You know, that's interesting. I don't know. I think I try harder for people to attach themselves to me, actually. You know what I mean? I know that sounds crazy, but you know, you kind of want that real friendship feel out of people, you know what I mean?
Oh.
So you're just like, hey, here's who I am, and I'd like to know who you are. You know, you just put everything on the table.
But you're used to being the new guy, so that's your personality probably develops because you always have to win people over every 3 years.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, just when I walked in here, I'm like, hey. Every time I go somewhere, I'm like, hey, turn up. And then like, we're trying to do our work. I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've seen you on like, I've seen you do multiple interviews where you start the interview going like, this was my dream to do this show.
Right.
And I was like, I know. He's making friends with the room quick.
You're on the talk and you're like, my whole career's led to this.
Yeah, this is what I've been waiting for.
Serious. And low key, like, Rosie Perez was my like, my celebrity crush. So
White Man Can't Jump was a formative movie in my years. Yeah.
I jerked off to Fearless.
But when you met Rosie,
yeah, when I met Rosie, she was a lot calmer than I
or did you think she was gonna come at you with like that, like the Stookie Brothers are gonna kill us, Billy? Like that whole like.
Yeah, I just thought she would be like have a lot more like energy. You know what I mean? But she's a very like reserved soul. You know what I mean? She's very like timid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just didn't expect that.
Plus, she's a little older now too. You forget that, like, you know,
she's still fine though.
She still looks nice, but people mellow out, and it's like
Right.
I loved her when she was like 28. Now you look at her, she's probably 50, and she's got kids, and it's just they're not the same energy they had.
Yeah.
She just calmed down.
Yeah.
She still looks good though.
Yeah.
She was
great.
attractive.
Look at her. Yeah, she aged great.
Yeah. It's like Marissa Tomei,
Yeah.
right?
Look at
Yeah, Gina Gershon.
Yes.
Still fine.
Yes.
Hey.
Still going after all these years. Hi, Rosie.
Just putting it out there.
I'm single.
I want to be a stepdad, Rosie.
when did you start?
I got him on the sip. Yeah, 53. She looks fucking great.
Yeah.
You went from like just saying hi to Rosie to being like, "Will you marry me?
Yeah, I'll take care of
I
your
want to be the
kids.
father of your
They
children."
don't have to call me dad, but they can't call me by my first name. I'm fine with them calling me dad.
So when did you decide that acting was what you wanted to do?
After I got the first check.
No,
Serious stuff. I never saw anybody who would become an actor. The only person who I know was like Wendell Pearson and Anthony
Wire.
Mackie.
Yeah.
But they still, I feel like they've both ventured out of the city to become actors. You know what I mean? And I was just like, it was so taboo to me. You know what I mean? And they had a workshop come through, and they was like, "You can be really good at this." And I'm like, "All right, whatever." You know, it was kind of just there for the females, non-ambiance. But then it became something that was like, I'm kind of good at this. You know what I mean? And then after I booked my first job, I was like, "Yo," I was on set maybe like 12 hours. I worked for probably 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And my check was crazy.
What was the gig? What was the gig?
I got a career.
What was the first one that you auditioned for and got?
Texas Killing Fields. It's like, it was kind of a B-list film with Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Sam Worthington, Jason Clarke, Chloe Moretz. It was kind of cool.
But it paid well.
Yeah,
So
did.
that's
funny, man.
Definitely paid well.
Because when you get around actors for the first time and you've never had like a real acting job, and they're like, "We're going to be here for 16 hours." You go, "This isn't a fucking job."
Right.
You're like, "I get to go take a nap right now."
Right.
If I tried to take a nap at any of my old jobs, I'd be like, "You're fired." I got caught napping at one of my old jobs, and they're like, "You're fired."
Right.
Did you
Good
go?
night.
Get the fuck out of here.
911 operator.
Did you head clock you off?
Did you unplug the phone? I go, "Yeah, I'm taking a nap under my desk."
And you also realize that when you're on a set, people are nice to you. So it's like, you're like, "I'm going to grab some coffee." No, we'll get it. And then after a while, you're like, "Oh, fuck, I don't have to get anything for myself."
And you feel as being coming from the world of comedy where you're just treated like garbage on the road, where they're like, "Sit in the green room," and you're like, "I'm sorry, can I have a water?" And they're like, "Maybe."
Yeah.
And then you get on set and they're like, "Do you want something specific? If it's wheat, we can find something that's not wheat. I understand that you're," and you're like, "What the
In
fuck?"
a comedy club, you want water, they point at the toilet. Scumbag.
Did you go through any of that in the beginning of being like, I feel like I should be doing something right now?
Yo, I definitely did.
Yeah.
Because I did this film called Dragon Eyes, right? And it was my first supporting role, but I still hadn't got the concept of like, I can have whatever I want. Like, where's my latte? I was never that guy, right?
Oh man, please don't ever be that guy.
So my mom actually, it was her first time coming on set, and she brought like a bottle for us to celebrate, right?
Yeah.
She was like, "You think they're gonna let us drink some wine there?" I was like, "I don't know, you know what I mean? Let's just try to like duck it off." So she gets there, don't have no corkscrew.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Really, Mom? You couldn't get a twist top, anything?" You know what I mean? So she's like, "Well, look, let's see maybe if we can find a corkscrew." So at the time, a AD knocks on the door, and they're like, "Let us know if you need anything." And I was like, "I think my mom needs a corkscrew." And they was like, "A corkscrew? Jason mom's need a corkscrew." Like, everybody.
Yeah, they got the head strap.
the PA, you know what I mean?
They need a
She
now.
was like, "Oh my God, this is how this works." I was like, "I guess so," but it was just.
You should have been like, "Mom." You should have been like, "Mom, you want to watch a theater major sweat real quick? I need a corkscrew." I'm like, "Corkscrew. You need the corkscrew now." Oh fuck! It's happening.
Right? They just go straight Smith, right?
Yeah, it's great.
Corkscrew,
The
right?
agent's great.
How long did it take for you to get like confidence in it? Because I feel like in the beginning, I'd be sitting there looking at the people working on the set and going like, why aren't you guys just doing the acting stuff? This is
Right. Well, I mean, to be honest, I'm still the guy that like acts as if my mom was there, or acts as if I would have to, you know what I mean? Like deal with the repercussions of doing some fuck shit. You know what I mean?
Being
like,
a decent person?
right. You know what I mean? Exactly. You know what I mean? Like for instance, like a lot of first teamers, which is the actual actors that are going to be in the scene, a lot of them were like, "You know what? I don't want hair and makeup riding with me. I don't want these people riding with me." And I'm like, "Really? You're going to sit in the front seat of a 15-passenger van and be, you know what I mean? That's weird." And I'm still that guy that forces them to get in the van. You know what I mean? I'm like, "No, like I'm going to help move chairs. I'm going to help move Video Village because I'm not doing anything. I'm a grown man." You know what I mean?
I'm
Like,
in the middle,
I'm
though,
not just
like-
going to sit there. Like, that's stupid.
I want to be like the guy who's honest enough to go, "I'm not riding with them," but I'm like you, and I'm like, "I'll ride with them," but I don't want to ride with them.
You don't want to.
No.
Jim's doing the thing where they go, "I guess someone needs to pick up that chair," and Jim goes, I'll do it.
I'll be happy to. People are watching. I'm a good egg.
Right, like literally on my show, The Shy, right now, like the ongoing joke is like that Jason Mitchell is hard to work with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I just don't believe in physically overworking women. I don't believe in physically just standing there and watching people do things when you can help. Like it makes the time go by faster. You know what I mean?
Getting that show had to be amazing for you. I mean, because
yeah.
you could. I would assume you can look at that show. Like I would watch the whole first season. It was kind of obvious within a couple episodes. Like this is going to last more than one season.
Yeah,
like, this is a good show, and your part on it is such an important, meaty, part with so many. Like it's a layered part.
Yeah, and it's so crazy because when I first met Lena, we actually like held hands in agreement and prayed. It was like one day we're gonna work together. You know what I mean? And a year and a half later, she wrote the show. I starred the show. So it's like it already has this sort of this godly thing around it. You know what I mean? And it just keeps getting better and better and better. And everybody is like really kicking ass on the show. So
Are you guys filming season 2 now?
We start July.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is there any part of you that's like, at least in the beginning, we have to represent Chicago? Like that's a real story going on in real life that people are
The beginning, the middle, the end, the
whole
entire
time.
time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I mean, you could do wrong by Chicago, but then you just can't go back.
Yeah. It's a tough city to piss off and then walk back in.
Exactly. They're a city with a real identity. You know what I mean? Like a lot of places are just people put them on the map once they get on TV, but it's not like that in Chicago. You know what I mean? They're a very deep bred city. You know what I mean?
People like it from Chicago? Have people talked to?
They like it a lot. They like it a lot. But it was rough at first, you know what I mean? Because by me not being from Chicago, it was important for people to know that I was gonna put my best foot forward. You know what I mean? And if you never visit the hood, they're gonna be like, how you know what the hood like in Chicago? So there was things I had to do, like for Easter, I was like in a backyard in Chicago, like in West Side Chicago, eating barbecue and licking my fingers with everybody else, like, and it was like, okay, we rock on him,
What happens when you show up to a barbecue in Chicago? I would imagine that everybody becomes aware that you're there.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It goes from a very small barbecue to tell somebody to bring some more food. You know what I mean? Like,
you'll never guess who's over here.
Right? It was a big deal.
Easy motherfucking Eazy in my house right now.
Exactly.
No, he's here.
Exactly
No, he's eating in the backyard. I'm looking right at him. Get the fuck over here.
Somebody just starts walking up to you with like a Raiders hat. Like, would you wear
no. Sunglasses. I got some blue lights.
Did you put these on?
Is it too much? First off, how's the potato salad? Good?
Right?
All right.
Yeah, it was really, really good though, man. I was out there kissing babies and all kind of stuff. It was dope.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And
it's also funny to think just some like a white dude from North Chicago's watching The Shy, and then he's like, "Is that Eazy-E?" With this North Chicago. What the hell is happening?
Right?
I've been a cop on the Chicago PD for over 20 years. I swear to God, that's Eazy-E. It's got to be hot as shit filming there in July and August.
Oh man, hot as shit ain't the word.
Oh, you're from New Orleans though. You can deal with that.
Well, see, it's a different type of heat though. You know what I mean? Because we got that sticky moistness out there. Is sticking your ass. Like, you know what I mean? You go out there, you could probably cook yourself.
Yeah, it's
Serious
hot.
shit.
People don't realize that because Chicago's so fucking cold in the winter, and then you go out there in the summer, and you're like, this is brutal in the summer.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you shoot in areas that there's a lot of bad shit happening where they have to kind of like get permission or whatever to shoot in certain areas?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, but at the same time, it's just. I mean, it could be around the corner. It could be anywhere in Chicago. You know what I mean? And I remember we were shooting one of the scenes at the mom's house, at Laverne's house, right? And 2 blocks over, there was like a little a big commotion. They pulled this little Mexican guy out the house. He might have been 5 feet, right? Older guy in his 50s or 60s. They found like $1.3 million in his house. And it was like, what?
Just 2 blocks away from where you guys were filming?
Yeah, it was
That's
like,
hilarious.
what is happening? It was crazy. Like, the police were telling us all kind of crazy
So they just took a little investor out for no reason?
Who's this guy?
He's like, I have my own bank.
Right.
It's just in my house.
In the casa? I don't know.
Yeah.
Is there anybody around you that makes you like worry about your success? Because there's this scene at the end of the season of The Shy when your character gets his food truck and everything seems like it's finally on an upswing.
Right.
And then these gangsters came around that you had altercations with earlier in the season, and you realize like, oh fuck, he just can't get there. This is just
Right. He can't
on
catch
his
a
back.
break.
Right.
He can't catch a break. But it's interesting. It's interesting to think about because I got the food truck and I got a loan on the food truck thinking I was going to sell the house.
Right.
But now my mom doesn't want to sell the house. So, I mean, I may need a little help. I may need a little protection. I may need a little extra money. So, I don't know. You would have to watch and see how Brandon handles it.
Yeah, it's fucked.
Yeah.
You watch that show and you're like,
trouble.
oh, shit. How does anybody manage? I don't understand.
It's crazy.
What did you want to do before you acted?
You know, I don't know. I'm just one of those guys that I live for instant gratification. You know what I mean? I found a lot of happiness in like doing electrical work, cooking. You know what I mean? Things like that that change people's lives and that make instant change. And
What's better, doing electrical work or working with Dr. Dre on an NWA movie?
oh, that's definitely definitely better. You know what I mean?
It would have been better if Jason was like, I love electrical work.
Exactly. Good luck filming a movie without electricity, fuckers.
Exactly. How are you gonna do it?
I don't know if you want a 4-bedroom properly wired. That's more fun to me.
Yeah.
Was that like really intimidating just to be around those guys knowing you're telling that story and you're kind of like, is that how, like, was it ever like looking to them like, was that how it was or?
Well, you know, it's interesting because like Dre, right? We seen Dre act.
Yeah.
And he was like, yo, I cannot tell you how like your whole get down just was up to me because I've acted in movies and I'm terrible. I was like, really? That's how you feel? He was like, yo, like he was like, man, I'm not good at this at all.
You were like, your gum chewing in Training Day was strong.
Right. You know what I mean? And he's just very like, I don't know. He calls it how he sees it. You know what I mean? And it seems like the higher you get up on the totem pole, the less BS you hear. You know what I mean? Like Jimmy Iovine, I've seen him take literally 6 minutes, and 6 minutes with each person, like in a meeting. But all of these people are sitting on the couch together, and he's like, he's like cycling them out of there. You know
like speed dating.
Yeah, exactly.
Like 6 minutes, you're done. Now I'm going to talk to you. You're done.
But they're all like standing next, like sitting next to each other.
Well, he's a billionaire.
Listening to the last thing that they said, and I was like, wow.
And he's got, because he's got the answers. Like he can actually, like, here's what we're gonna do, and that's what we're doing, and go do that next. All right, we're doing this with you next.
And that's
it's crazy.
Like you don't have to wait for approvals.
Yeah,
right.
But,
When you make the decisions, you can just make the decisions.
Yeah.
It looks like you're doing something, but no, you just don't have to ask anybody for permission to do it.
Precisely.
it's just the complete elimination of bureaucracy. We're not like, well, let's see what they say above it. You're like, I'm the guy up here, and that's cool.
But when you're playing Eazy, you're playing him in front of a guy who knew him. There's a lot of pressure with that because this is not a fictional character. These are all people who are his friends.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that was one of those things. You mess it up, go ahead. Just don't come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was a thing that not just Dr. Dre had that feeling for, but like the whole city. You know what I mean? Like they would legit have people just come watch. You know, and like, what are you gonna say? You know what I mean? Like, but it was
because I guess you're representing Compton the same way you're representing Chicago on the other show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I remember one day specifically where we did like the scene where we're getting on the bus and off the bus, and we also did that the lowrider scene and all that, right? It was all like in the same spot. And all the gangs came out that day and they were like, damn, this is gonna get bad. You know what I mean? But it was like,
production was like that?
Yeah, like they were really nervous because you could literally see clusters of people and the different colors, and it was all there. You know what I mean? And it kind of blew my mind. But then they had this one dude I'll never forget. He has like tattoos all over his face and everything. So he just walked right past the ADs and everything. He like, hey, homie, you got that easy roll, huh? Homie, look, take a picture with me. Look, hey, he got it in his eyes and everything. I'm happy, man. Look, I was like, wow,
dude, that is so funny to think of a PA and a headset to go, sir, stop, sir, stop, get your mark ass bitch ass away out of my fucking stupid ass bitch.
I ain't worried about that bitch. You know, like,
sir, bring that gun back to props. No, stupid.
Okay, is he an extra? What's your number, sir? I need your number. Are you SAG? You can't go to Crafty if you're not SAG.
Isn't it funny though? Everybody wants to watch a movie be filmed. Like even if it's gangs, it doesn't matter. Everybody is interested in that process.
It's exciting.
Like in Vietnam, it was crazy, right? Because like we were on a hill one day, and the hill has like trees on top of it. Literally, I'd say 75 people were all like just crouched down because they do like this little crouch down thing, right? Like where they're just bending down, but they were all in the tree, which was amazing to me.
So you just looked up and just saw people in the tree watching you?
Like 60 or 70 people just crouched down in the tree just watching.
That would fuck me up.
First of all, how did you climb a tree with slippers? How did you climb a tree in flip-flops? I need to know.
Fucking hilarious. You just look up and you're like, there's 75 fucking people in the tree.
Right?
For what?
Yeah, it's crazy.
To watch John Goodman do a take where he's like, I'm tired. And like, that's acting. That is some real good acting.
You did a lot of research on Eazy-E, right, for the role?
Yeah, I did.
Tell me your theory. Do you think Suge got him?
No.
You don't?
Do not think that. Nope.
How come?
Because man, this is deep.
That's right.
This is deep. I don't think Suge got him just for the simple fact that AIDS is such a it's a bigger thing.
Mhm.
It's a bigger thing. It's a United States sort of thing. And after you are Eric Lynn Wright on a piece of paper and you've donated X amount of dollars to the state of California, and then you go to the White House and they realize that you're the same guy who made fuck the police. That's a mistake. You know what I mean? Like, it's you.
There you go. Who's
Tell him
next?
to get back on the plane. You know what I mean?
Who's next to
Take
say the
that out of the
president? Eric Lynn Wright, who is, oh God, that's easy.
Right. You know what I mean? Because before the internet, I mean, it was, everything was on paper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And nobody's calling you Eric Lynn Wright. You know what I mean?
Do you think you got it from sex?
I don't know. I mean, I hate to call it like I see it.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting concept to think that he died so fast from AIDS, and out of 7 baby mamas and 9 kids, nobody has it.
Really? I didn't know that part. That just no one.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it wasn't
The
Suge. It was.
old-
Yeah, I got it. All right.
Guys, turn the
Okay.
cameras off. The old Bob Marley treatment.
Got it.
See you guys.
You fucking shake the system, they shake you.
The old list checkers.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting. I mean, I don't know, for it to happen so abrupt,
That's why I think everybody's got their theories on it. Just because out of nowhere, nobody around him was affected, and it's just done.
But you also probably back then weren't getting tested for it all the time.
Probably.
It's one of those things, you're sick and you're like, I'm just sick.
But you would think he would have infected a ton of people.
Maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, just think about it. Like, all right, when like the thing they don't show in the movie when they found out he had AIDS, like hundreds of people came to the hospital, like crying, like, oh my God, my life is about to be over. You know what I mean? Like, they was really legit trying to get checked. You know what I'm saying? Like, and to think that like maybe him and some of the guys from NWA didn't have sex with the same women is that's preposterous.
Of course.
You know
It's
what
like
I mean?
that debunks everything that a groupie is.
Right.
Because a groupie's just trying to get on the bus. It's like, I don't care, whatever.
Right, exactly.
That may not be the sex he was having, though. Who knows?
Yeah.
If you're doing things that put you at risk for that,
Yeah.
you're at risk for it, but the people you're having sex with might not be as much at risk.
I don't know. I just think it's interesting that nobody else was
There's just
Right.
one,
Nobody. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
there's got to be one woman that's like, it was me.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. There got to be somebody.
I was the one. That's
Right?
fucking crazy. Yeah. Just
You'd be like, that bitch, I knew Aisha. You know what I mean?
She said she felt weird when we had sex.
Hey, did you get anything wrong though? Was there anything about like you say, okay, you watch him and you watch interviews and you interpret who he is and you try to play him or be him? Was there anything there like, no, he didn't do this that way, that they didn't like how you interpreted it?
Well, at the very beginning, like before I spoke to Tamika, which was his last wife, and business partner, I just assumed that he smoked a lot of weed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And assumed that he like would indulge in drugs and things like that. And she's like, nah, that actually wasn't his thing. You know what I mean? Like sex was his only drug, and money. He was really addicted to money. You know what I mean? He would give each one of those little families 20 bands a month. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he was a serious threat. Like he was making that kind of money.
Did that change the way you played the role when you found that out? Where you're like, oh
Absolutely.
shit, now knowing just sex and money is his thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just kind of gear yourself towards that.
Yeah, it definitely did. It definitely did. Because like the amazing one shot that we have, the famous hotel scene,
Yeah.
it was originally created to not only do this beautiful one shot and see how we operate in hotels and things like that, but also to justify me getting my hair braided. And I was like, why? You know what I mean? Like this guy's having sex in the bed. Like him and Yella used to have these things where like they would see who could sleep with the most women in each city. And it was so petty to where like one day they were both at 10 women, right? And their like knees were shaking. Because
they're only in any particular city for a day or two, right?
Right.
Right.
And they're pulling off, right? And like they have a girl like, hey. And they were and he looks over at Yella and he was like, well, gotcha. You know what I mean? So he I was the girl on the bus, and it was what it was, and that was the highest number they ever went.
I would have been the worst friend of theirs. I'd have been like, I had sex once, I'm good all day. And like, that's it? I go, yeah, no, I'm pretty good. I want a nap and a sandwich.
I'm such a fucking cuck. I would have just talked to the girls after they fucked the guys. Hey, are you okay? Do you need a ride?
You go,
What does it have to do you like this?
was it warm in the hotel room? I like to keep it at 68.
Yeah, I'm good for one load every 9 hours, maybe.
Yeah, I got that turtle load. I'm like, just let's us re-energize.
It's just blowing dust.
No more.
Right?
So it's kind of amazing. You go from, I mean, in terms of the big roles, you go from the Straight Outta Compton movie,
Right.
which completely, I think, put you on the map.
Right.
But that's a high pressure role.
Yeah.
Then you go to The Chi, which I think, as a dramatic actor, did a lot for you. That's a lot of pressure because it's Chicago.
Right.
Now you got to remake Superfly.
Right. Yeah.
Which is like, there are people who live and die by that movie.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think we did a great job. You know what I mean? I really do think we did a great job. And it was a movie that I feel like it needed that extra little step. You know what I mean? It needed the fast motion. It needed everything that an action film has. It needed that. You know what I mean? Because like the movies that I grew up on, like Beverly Hills Cop, and you know what I mean? These are all movies that are like funny and fascinating, but the bullets are still real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you learn something from them. So it's yeah.
Is there any Curtis Mayfield in the movie at all?
We had, of course, we had.
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say,
Right.
I was like gonna be disappointed, like we couldn't get the licensing. Like,
Right. Of course. Yeah.
So, we have on the sheet Super Freak is in theaters.
Superfly.
Okay, so they just wrote it wrong on the someone wrote up the prep sheet wrong. Superfly. Because I'm confused. I'm like, is this one movie he's shooting and one movie that's done? Superfly. It's in theaters Wednesday, June 13th.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Do you get nervous when something comes out? Do you pay attention to numbers or how people are responding to it? Or are you one of those guys that doesn't give a shit?
I don't care at all. Because the thing is, on the day, I let it all hang out.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So I never like leave the field feeling like, I could have did better than that. You know what I mean? I just don't. So I let it go, and I'm not one of those guys who like to watch playback or anything because I'm just weird about watching myself.
it's the worst.
Do you read?
It's the worst. Watching yourself is that you're just like,
I
why did
love watching myself.
Really?
I'll actually shh.
Yeah.
Go ahead, watch.
you go. Can you bring up the second take? I like the way it better on the second take.
Hey, when you had that thing on that Delta flight, which we all have things.
Right.
Is it like now that you're a lot more famous than you were? You're like, oh fuck, everyone's got a camera. In public, you just.
Yeah, that's what I was
Right.
wondering. Is that when you realize, like, oh shit, I'm famous?
I'm really famous.
Yeah, that was one of those moments where you're like, oh man, here it is. You know what I mean? It's happening. You slowly see the phones popping up, but you're like, I'm already in it. Here we go. Wasn't the happiest day of my life, but
It happens.
I
Everybody
learned.
freaks out.
I
Yeah.
learned a lot.
You know what I kind of like? That, like, even as you knew the cameras were all out,
Yeah.
you stayed the same. Like, you're
Yeah.
like, that's that guy. You didn't get violent. You didn't get, like, it's like, okay, I get who that guy is, and he's not that different. He's just mad right now. It's the same dude, but mad.
He's just upset.
Well,
It happened. Chad Coleman, who I love, who was in The Wire, he was in The Walking Dead, had that meltdown on the train in New York.
Yeah.
Did you see that meltdown?
I don't
No.
remember it.
Oh my God! It was in a subway car. He was drunk. Do you remember that, Travis? He's like, I'm Walking Dead.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
No. Oh, you
to be
can't.
honest, it was one of those things where I just was trying not to be like, I'm Jason Mitchell. You know?
yeah.
But I had just worked with Delta and they gave me like $5,000 to do one of those things. Like, hi, I'm Jason Mitchell. I took my first Delta flight. And you know what I mean? I'm like, guys, come on, like,
Right.
cut me a break.
Come on, Delta.
Just look at my ticket.
That's what I was so happy for you
Yeah.
that you didn't do that because like who did that? Like Reese Witherspoon
Reese
did that.
Witherspoon
Do you
did
know
it.
who I am?
Yeah,
That's
and
like
it-
people.
To me, that's so lame. But I was
Yeah.
just like, ma'am, just please just take a look at my ticket. It was $7,800. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was
You
fight
did.
weekend. I was like, ma'am, please.
You seem genuinely hurt by the whole thing.
I
Like, can you
was.
just? Why is this happening?
Right, I
No.
really was. I was like, come on, because when they did this thing and they was like, can everybody evacuate the plane? I was like, come on, that's not. You know what I mean? I'll get off.
It's just an argument.
Yeah,
right.
I'll get off, but still, like it's $7,800. You're gonna hear my mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
How long did you have to wait for your next flight?
The next day,
Oh, you have to wait till the next day. Did you
yeah.
make what you needed to make or no?
No.
What did you miss?
the Chi, and it cost
Oh, shit.
$914.36 a minute. to shoot the TV show. So who wants to be the young black guy who just went to Vegas and just back late? You know what I mean? I was just like, no,
and you're just trying to get some fucking personal time and then go back to work because you're going to be putting in 16-hour days.
Well, actually, Showtime surprised me with the tickets. They was like, you've been doing so good. You know, we know that, because they heard that Floyd Mayweather was like my dream role.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they was like, we heard you wanted to go to the Floyd fight, so we got you 2 tickets. And I was like, what?
What flight was it?
Him and McGregor.
Oh, you said you were there for that.
Yeah, so I was like, what? And
Showtime stepped in.
Yeah, it was like, all you got to do is get yourself there and back. We got you a room. We got everything. I was like,
That's
what?
amazing.
Yeah, so I got like a last minute ticket, but...
And then you know what's that? You get that feeling,
But you paid for it.
Right.
but you get that guilt because something so nice was given to you because you're doing well at your job. Then you got to get back to the job, and then
Right.
Delta's fucking with you, and you're like, I just got to get back to work.
Right.
'Cause- Yeah, I understand that.
I think
you feel
right.
like almost like a guilt towards what the fuck? I got given this nice thing, and now I got to get back as fast as I can.
Yeah.
We just discovered
absolutely.
why Jason Mitchell cleans up all the chairs on the set at all times.
Exactly.
Now the truth
It goes like this. He goes, there's going to be a Lomachenko fight coming up. He just grabs more chairs. He goes,
So that's your dream role, Floyd Mayweather?
Yeah.
So would you do the like extreme actor thing and get into like ridiculous Floyd Mayweather shape and do the whole
I
deal?
definitely will, because when I first met him, it was very brief. You know what I mean? And he was like, "Oh man, big fan, everything, right?" And we all like chilling, because I went to I want to say it was Agenda or Magic, the thing that they have in Vegas, like the, what do you call it, the fashion situation.
Mhm.
So I met him there, and then we went out afterwards, and it was almost 11 o'clock. And he was like, "All right, y'all rolling or y'all folding?" You know what I mean? And there, some people was like, "Nah, we ain't got time for that shit, whatever." And I'm like, what's happening? You know? And he was like, they was like, "Oh, Floyd about to go start his workout."
That's
I
crazy.
was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, the body is designed to go to sleep at night, but we fight at night. So if I do my workout at night, you know what I mean?"
Wow.
And I started at night. Then by the time a person's body is shutting down, that's when I'm amping myself. I'm like, damn,
50 and
you know
0.
what I mean? Like, that's
Wow.
why he win. You know
50
what I
and
mean?
0.
Yeah, he ain't tripping.
So he
you know?
goes he works out at 11 p.m.
Yeah, he starts his run at 11.
Then again, when you're Floyd Mayweather and you can do whatever you want whenever you want, it doesn't matter if you finish at 4 in the morning. You can
Yeah.
still go out and do whatever the fuck you want.
That'd be like
Yeah.
us if we're like, I'm going to do a set at 4 p.m. And like, you're going to do a comedy set at 4 p.m. Yeah. Most people are at work. That's when I'm going to work too. How are you going to get a crowd at 4 p.m.?
Walk on stage with a lunchbox.
Yeah, you just open it up, take a sandwich out. You go, dating's weird. And then you want to take a bite. Dating's real tough these days.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? What are you looking forward to doing coming up?
Man, they have so much I want to try, but I love playing villains, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like every villain has like a really good soft spot. You know what I mean? But like Vincent D'Onofrio is one of my favorite guys.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if y'all watched Daredevil,
Yeah.
but I thought it was really interesting, like how they introduced his character as this very nervous, timid, like I want to impress this girl type of situation.
With the art?
Yeah, and then he like slams this guy's head in the door until he literally severs it. You know what I mean? Because he messed the date up.
And the whole background of he loves that painting because it reminds him of the wall that he looked at after he
Right.
fucked his dad up. And
Right.
you're like, yeah, that's great.
Right. You know what I mean? So I just think it's interesting, like how, different you can be. Like even Michael Shannon in The Iceman. You know what I mean? He was
Yes.
legit,
Oh,
like,
man, I was so mad about
I can't
that
let
movie.
it go now. You know what I mean? I can't let it go. Now I have to kill you. You know
That
what
was
I
one of my
mean?
favorite books, and I love Michael Shannon. I was
Yeah.
so excited for him to play Richard Kuklinski,
Yeah.
and then it came out like a fucking action movie.
Yeah.
Where it was like, this dude was a psycho that just murdered people, and they made him like, he has no business. It was like, you needed that voiceover.
Was Ray Liotta in that? He played.
yeah,
he
Ray
was.
Liotta
Yeah.
played Roy DeMeo.
That's right.
Yeah,
Ray Liotta
which-
has the best laugh in the world to me.
Yeah.
That's why he could sell tequila. Remember when he was doing those tequila commercials? He was
Yeah.
laughing, and you're like, no, I'll drink tequila.
Do you? Is it tougher to make choices now that like when stuff is successful, right, and you start to build this name for yourself?
Yeah.
Does it become more difficult for you to make your choices in terms of I have to keep this momentum going?
Not really. I think it comes in like me just not wanting to show the same thing, over and over, because I think so many people get caught up in like for instance with Eazy-E, right? They called me for the Michelle A movie. They called me for everything that Eazy-E could possibly be in. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like people like, let's make a part 2 with flashbacks of Eazy-E. I'm like, guys,
Yeah.
cut the shit. You know what I mean? Like,
What if
move
we
on.
do Eazy-E as a guardian angel? Would you be comfortable with that?
Exactly. Like I've been asked to do like holographic performances.
Really?
Just a bunch of stuff.
That's
I'm like,
fucking-
guys,
Is it hard
can't-
to say no?
just stop.
Is it hard to say no for the money?
No, not really. Not really. Because I feel like I've done the family such a great justice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like. It's just downhill from there. You know what I mean?
Right,
That's
yeah.
honestly how I feel. You know what I mean?
When the guy who played Biggie in Notorious pops up as Biggie in the Tupac movie,
Oh, dude, that was.
you're like, oh, come on.
Wasn't he-
That's not- no, you
Did he
can't
play
be.
Biggie again on that USA show or the show?
No, that was a different Biggie.
Okay.
Wait. I know he played Biggie 3 times though.
Did he really?
Yeah.
He just gets the call and he's like, he has to put his Biggie voice on. He goes, oh, what's up? They're like, can you do it? He's like,
Gotta change our plans.
I gotta get a cold good. I gotta get a dose cold good. I'm gonna put it.